Sundaranga Kandar Ako Vikamaniya Vishesha Shobha
Govindam Adi Purusham Tanaham Jami
Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Hari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakale Priya Priti Manti Vasyanti Panti Kayanti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam
Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham
Ohe Vaisnava Thakura Vaira Sagara Edase Karuna Kori Ohe Vaisnava Thakura Doyara Sagara Edase Karuna Kori Dia parachara shuru he amai tomara charana dori. Chaya bhega bhumi, chaya dosha shodhi, chaya guna deho dase. Chaya satsanga, deho he amare, bochasi sangera she. Ekaki amar nahi parbaro harinama sankirtane. Tumi kripa kori sharabindu diya deho nama sadane. Krishna se toma, Krishna dite paro, tumara shakti ache. Amito Kanga, Krishna Krishna Bodhi, Dayatava Pache Pache. Ohe Vaisnava Thakura, Doyara Sagara, Dase Kuruna Kori. Jaya Vaisnava Thakura, Vaisnava Thakura, Vaisnava Thakura, Jaya Vaisnava Thakura. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Ujjvala. Ujjvala Varana. Ujjvala Varana, Doravara Deha, Vilasita Niravari Baba Videva. Krivana Pavana Kripayalesha, Samprana Mamicha, Shisha Chitandaya. Gadgarantara Bhava Vipara, Durjana Tarjana Bhavaya Bhajana Karana Karuna Tamkara Mamicha Shishati Tanayam Aruram Bharadara Charu Kapolam Indu Vindita Nakachaya Ruchiram Arupita Nija Guna Nama Vinodam Tamrana Mamicha Shri Sachitanayam Galita Nayana Chamala Jaladara Vishanda Navarasa Baba Vikara Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Ki Jai Gatiyati Mantara Nritya Vilasam Sangrana Mamicha Shri Sachitanayam Chala Charu Chana Gati Richira Manjira Ranjita Pada Juga Madura Chandra Benungita Ujjvala Varana Shampana Mamicha Shri Sachitanayam Kakti Goda Kamandalu Gandam Divya Kalevara Mundita Mundam Durjana Kalmasha Kandana Gandam Sambrana Mamicha Shri Sachitanayam Santa Vindara Vara Ruchira Malyaja Virachita Ujjvala Tilakam Samrana Mamicha Shri Sachitanayam Karuna Pagala Dalanayana Ajamilam Vitashi Vijayagalam Dalevara Kaishana Natakadesha Samprana Mamicha Shri Sachitanayam Bali. Ujjvala Varana Guruvara Deham Ilusita Niravadi Bhavadi Deham Shri Bhuvana Pavana Kripaya Lesham Sakana Mamicha Shri Sachitanayam That Goswami Ashtakam. All together now. Krishna Kirtana Galana Talaparo Premamritam Molibi Viradi Rajana Priya Priyakaro Nirmatsaro Pujito Shri Chaitanya Tripavara Dubhibuva Bharavahan Dharato Bye. Adibhuto Murari. Vande Rupa Sanatana Radhikato, Jiva Gopala Shri Radhe Devi Kechalalite, He Nanda Sulokupa, Shri Govardhana Kalpapa Patale, Kalindi Banye Rupa, Goshanta Viti Sarvata Gajapure, Kekar Mahadivalo. Vande Rupa Sanatana Radhikato, Jiva Gopala. Vande Rupa Sanatana Radhikato, Jiva. One more time. Vande Rupa Sanatana Radhikato, Jiva Gopala. Gaur Premanande, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Guru Puja, Namaste. Namaste. We're having Guru Puja early-ish. Just now, anyway. Harmonium. Would you all like to chant these verses? Really? Yes. All right. Nama Shreshtam Manumapi Shachiputram Atra Sarupam Sri Rupam Tasya Grajam Uruparim Matarim Goshtavatim Radha Kundam Girivaramoho Radhika Madhavashan Prapto Yasya Pratita Kripaya Shri Gurum Tam Natosmi. He Guru Gyanadadina Bandho Swananda Data Karanaika Sindho Vrindavana Sinahita Vita Prasida Radha Pranaya Prachara. He Dina Bandho Karanaika Sindho Guru Prasadam Mai Mandamudhe Laksha Parade Bahupapagade Tatpada Padme Stumatishta Krishne Naivo Payantya Pachitim Kavayasta Vesha Brahmayushapi Kridam Ridamudasvaranta Yontar Bahista Nubratam Ashubham Vadunvan Acharya Chaitya Vapusha Swagatim Yanakti. I bow down to the beautiful lotus feet of my spiritual master, by whose causeless mercy I have obtained the supreme holy name, the divine mantra, the service of the son of Shachi Mata, the association of Srila Sarup Damodar, Rupa Goswami and his older brother Sanatan Goswami, the supreme abode of Mathura, the blissful abode of Vrindavan, the divine Radha Kund and Govardhan Hill, and the desire within my heart for the loving service of Sri Radhika and Madhava in Vrindavan. O spiritual master, O giver of divine wisdom, O friend of the fallen, you are the giver of your own bliss, and you are the only ocean of mercy. Although dwelling in Vrindavan, You have descended for the welfare of fallen souls like myself, and you are preaching the divine love of Radha for Krishna. Please be kind upon me. O friend of the lowly, O Gurudev, you are the only ocean of mercy. I am a dull fool and have committed hundreds of thousands of offenses. I have fallen into a dense myriad of sins. Therefore grace me with your mercy, so that my mind may be fixed on your lotus feet and on Sri Krishna. O my Lord, transcendental poets and experts in spiritual science could not fully express their indebtedness to you, even if they are endowed with the prolonged lifetime of Brahma. For you appear in two features, externally as the Acharya and internally as the Supersoul, to deliver the embodied living being by directing him how to come to you. The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain pure devotional service. I bow to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. Our only wish is to have our consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens our darkened eyes and fills our hearts with transcendental knowledge. He is our Lord, birth after birth. From him ecstatic prema emanates. By him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor and the Lord and master of the devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread all over the three worlds. Sri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Sri Guru Charane Rate Yeshayutama Gate Nama Om Vishnupadaya Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Gadadhar Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Radha Shiva Sari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Radhe Gopala, Radha Madan Mohan, go. Radha Madhava, your turn.
Radha Bhakti Hari,
Radha Bhakti Hari,
Radha Damodara,
Giridhari,
Radha Gokulananda,
Radha Madhava,
Radha Gopinatha,
Radha Gopi Vallabha,
Radha Kirchor Gopinatha,
Radha Kundi Hari,
Radha Ranganishwara,
Gandharvika Giridhari,
Gandharvika Girihari, Radha Nila Madhava,
Radha Kishore Kishori,
Radha Pirashwara,
Radha Partha Sarathi, Radha Ramana,
Radha Ras Bihari,
Radha Shama Sundar,
Radha Shama Sundar,
Rukmini Durgadish,
Rukmini Chakadish,
Kishora Kishori,
Kishore Kishori,
Radha Vrindavan Chandra,
Radha Govinda, Radha Kalachandji, Bhakare, hey, Radha Govinda Gopala Hare, Bhakare, hey, Radha Govinda Gopala Hare. I say Shri Bhagavana ko mere barambar pranam hai. I say Shri Jnana Shyama ko mere barambar pranam hai. Jnana Shyama ko
Jayam Vishnupada Paramaham Saparivrajakacarya Asto Tarasat Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Shlesi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki ISKCON Sanstapakacharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jayam Vishnupada Paramaham Saparivrajakacarya Asto Tarasat Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Vamsa Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shyam Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan Ki Rajbhumi Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Mayapur Navadvip Dham Ki Purushottam Kshetra Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Ganga Mai Ki Jamuna Mai Ki Bhakti Devi Ki Shrimati Tulsi Maharani Ki Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande. Glories to the Sambhu devotees. Glories to the Sambhu devotees. Oh, glories to the Sambhu devotees. Glories, oh, glories to the lotus feet of Shishi Guru Gauranga.
Srimad Bhagavatam class will be setting up for it over here. Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Will help. Welcome to ISKCON of Silicon Valley. It's a great pleasure again to welcome His Holiness Bhagavan Svayam Bhagavan Keshava Maharaj, who's on a world tour, and luckily he stopped here at ISV. He's a consummate Sankirtan devotee, book distributor, knowledgeable in all of the Shastras, especially Srila Prabhupada's books, and loved and treasured all over the world. So we're very happy to welcome you here to ISV again here for the Saturday morning program. Maharaj has to leave right after this class, so please take advantage and try to get as much from our Kamadhenu as possible in this class. Please welcome His Holiness Keshava Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you again for your kindness. It's really been amazing. 3-4 days here, time has just flown by, and sad to be leaving today. But we'll stay connected, I'm sure. And, thank you for all your kindness. It's much appreciated. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishram Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalan Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki. So thank you so much. It's a real honor to be here with you and have the opportunity to discuss Bhagavatam with you. In the fourth canto of the Bhagavatam is mentioned, Yatre Dhyante Katha Mrishta Strishnaya Prashamo Gata Nirvairam Yatra Bhuteshu No Dvego Yatra Kaschana. That when the devotees come together to have Hari Katha, to talk about Krishna, then Srila Prabhupada writes, all lamentation, all fear, all envy disappears, at least for the time being. Prabhupada is interesting in the translation. He says, at least for the time being. So while we're here, it all comes into perspective. Everything becomes clear again. All the worries that seem so heavy, maybe not so heavy. All the anxieties, the anticipations, we become calm again in the cooling moon rays of the Bhagavatam. Of course, when we go out, nothing is guaranteed. But the more we immerse ourselves in the transcendental vibration of the Bhagavatam, then we carry this with us. So today I'll do something slightly different. I had a topic which somehow inspired me today. We have to speak of what we're inspired by. So I thought to share this with you. I just have to connect it? Okay. So today we will speak about a topic which I think may be interesting for all of you. And the topic I'd like to speak with you or discuss with you today is going to Vrindavan via Kuruksetra. Has anyone ever gone to Vrindavan via Kuruksetra? No? Did you ever take that route? Today I want you to consider that perhaps there are many lessons we have to pick up in the land of Kuruksetra in order to enter the land of Vrindavan. Srila Prabhupada would often say, here he says, Krishna's Leela, either in the Kuruksetra or in Vrindavan, the same thing we should know. So sometimes Srila Prabhupada would criticize that people just want to hear about Krishna's activities in Vrindavan, but they don't know about Krishna's activities outside of Vrindavan, which maybe help us to appreciate Vrindavan. He said that everything that Krishna does outside of Vrindavan is ultimately meant to bring our attention to Krishna in Vrindavan, because ultimately, yes, we are devotees of Krishna in Vrindavan, Aradhyo Bhagavan, Vrajesha, Tanayas, Tadhama, Vrindavanam. Although Krishna spent 96 years in Dwarka, still he is not a Gujarati. Although he spent 18 years in Mathura, still he is a Brajabasi through and through. Because Vrindavanam parityaja padapekam nagacchati. Krishna never steps outside of Vrindavan. So Vrindavan is very, very special. Here is Vrindavan. You see, sometimes we may take it for granted. Oh, Vrindavan, because we hear about it from day one in the Hare Krishna movement. Oh, Vrindavan, we hear about it from day one. But this is a spiritual world that most people have never conceived of. In which theology of the world will you find a description of the kingdom of God which is so beautiful, so charming, so enchanting? Vrindavan is that place. Someone makes, there was once, I was driving past one place and there was a sign on the wall and it was the beginning of the biblical literature. And the saying was, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. And someone had come and done some graffiti, and underneath it they had written, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was no. Because most people think that this is religion. No, restriction, limitation, rules, regulations. Even Nietzsche, the German philosopher, he said, I will only believe in a God who knows how to dance. And he also said God is dead. But he said, I'll only believe in a God who knows how to dance. Because most people have not conceived of a God that's dancing, that's smiling, that's playing, that's wrestling, that's stealing, that's playing all kinds of games. Yes, Vrindavan is the playground of God. Srila Prabhupada's godbrother, he very beautifully expresses it in one of his writings. He says, Vrindavan is a land that most people have never conceived of. In Vrindavan, Krishna needs his devotees as much as they need him. Krishna seeks his devotees as much as he seeks them, as they seek him. Krishna loves his devotees as much as they love him. And he says, in Vrindavan, Krishna is more human than superhuman. He's more natural than supernatural. In Vrindavan, all realities exceed our expectations. Yes, that is the Vrindavan. So Srila Prabhupada, he was always orientating us. I think it was 1971 or 1972. He taught the devotees to sing Jaya Radha Madhav before the class to help us orientate ourselves that this is where we're trying to go. This is our cherished destination. However, we have to qualify ourselves to go to Vrindavan. We have to become. Have you ever been to Vrindavan? Sometimes you go to Vrindavan and you feel like I'm an intruder. You ever feel that? Sometimes you're driving on the motorway, the highway, coming to Vrindavan, and it says like Radha Kund, 17 kilometers, right? And then you think, I'm an intruder. I shouldn't be here actually, because I don't have the qualification. Yet Srila Prabhupada, he opened the doors to Vrindavan for us. But if we want to actually then see the real Vrindavan, then Vishaya Chadya Kabeshuddha Habeman, your mind, your heart has to be completely pure. And so, in our Shastras, it's explained that most people are conventional devotees. They just have a lokika shraddha, a kind of cultural, a traditional approach to their religious life. But later on, when one becomes a little more serious, they become a committed devotee. But to enter into Vrindavan, you have to be more than even a committed devotee. You have to become a confidential devotee. In this table, you begin to see what that kind of progression is. You know, we go beyond just the process. We find Krishna. We become enchanted by his name, fame, form, qualities, and pastimes. We're connecting with Krishna not just out of duty, not just because of Shastra Agyai, because scripture tells us, or because we feel that we should. We have a responsibility. No, there is love, there is attraction. For the confidential devotees, it's not that every part of their life is connected to Krishna. Even that is high, no? Who can say that? Yat koroshi, yadashnashi, yad juhoshi, dadashi yat. Even that is high to reach that level. But in a confidential devotee's life, they enter into Krishna's life. What does Krishna say in the Bhagavad Gita? Majjita. Mat gata prana. It's very beautiful language. Mat gata prana. Literally, their lives enter into me. Once I was on book distribution and there was a small old, well, everyone's small compared to me. Height-wise at least. But he was actually quite small. And elderly Indian gentleman. So he was watching me. So I was like, okay, he's into it. So I went up to him. And so I went very close to him. So he was looking like this up to me. So I said, Hare Krishna. And he just looked at me and he said, why don't you just get a life? I was like, oh my God, I wasn't expecting that one, you know. I looked down at him and said, I'm trying to give up my life. I'm trying to enter into Krishna's life. Anyway, we ensued and had a conversation, and he became more favorable. So we're trying to enter into Krishna's life. The confidential devotee doesn't just give everything to Krishna. The confidential devotee then also has a strong sense of possessiveness. Krishna is mine. They went to a Brajavasi's house and they said, what's that? They said, that is Krishna's cupboard. What is that? That is Krishna's utensils. What is that? That is Krishna's plate. And who is that? Oh, that is Krishna. He is mine. Everything is Krishna's, but Krishna is mine. When one has that mamatam, that high level of possessiveness, then they are in Vrindavan, Vraja consciousness. And so it's not even here that I'm just subservient to Krishna, but there's intimacy with Krishna. Because can we see, this is amazing. Look at this. When, oh when will that day come when we're so natural, when we so naturally connect with Krishna, that that all of these other religious aspects of our practice fall by the wayside, and it just becomes very, very natural that I walk with Krishna every single day. And this is Vrindavan. And we're on a journey there. We're not there. Most of us, we still have conventional aspects to our life. And then on our good days, we're committed, we're fixed. But then when are we getting a glimpse of that confidential nature of devotion? That is Vrindavan. So Srila Prabhupada orientated us in this way. The Acharyas orientate us in this way. And this is basically our desire that one day maybe become like this. Okay? So before I carry on, I'm just going to stop at certain points just to see whether there's anything you want to clarify or ask. At this point, does anyone have any questions or just anything I've said that you just wanted to have more clarification on? Just before I go. Okay, yes, Prabhu.
Thank you, Maharaj, for choosing such a beautiful topic. In the Nectar of Devotion, we have the Vaidhi and the Raganuga. And oftentimes, how would one know whether one is moving from Vaidhi to Raganuga? Because oftentimes you can either jump one way or other. So just if you can elaborate a little bit on that.
Yes, how do we know where we are? How can we actually place ourselves? Of course, the Acharyas are very, very kind. Rupa Goswami, we call him the mastermind of bhakti. Rupa Goswami is the mastermind of bhakti, number one, because he has mastered his own mind. Goswami, isn't it? Who has mastered their own mind. Therefore, he's a mastermind of bhakti. Rupa Goswami is also a mastermind of bhakti because he has understood the mind of his master. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam. But Rupa Goswami is also a mastermind of bhakti because he knows how to masterfully reach the minds of all living entities. And therefore Rupa Goswami has written Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Srila Prabhupada subtitles it, The Complete Science of Devotional Service. And therefore Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, in 2 verses, he basically explains the progression of devotional life. Ado Shraddha Tatha Sadhu Sangotha Bhajana Kriya Anartha Nivriti Shyat Tato Nishta Ruchis Tatha, like that he goes on. So he explains there are 9 stages from Shraddha to Prem. But then what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur does is he takes those 2 verses and he writes a whole nother book. This is how the Vaishnavas are expanding things. They're taking something and fluffing it out even more. And therefore, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes what book to commentate on those 2 verses? Madhurya Kadambini. And in every single stage, he's outlining the qualities, the characteristics. Sometimes we have a good day in japa and we think, yes, Nishta. Isn't it? And then we read Madhurya Kadambini and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Nishta? You think Nishta? Then you have an absence of these 5 things. We won't go into the details. And then you think, okay, maybe just getting there. Just now coming. Maybe not there. So in that way, even in Bhajana Kriya, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains very beautifully what are the characteristics of anishtita, bhajana kriya, isn't it? Utsaha mai, youthful enthusiasm. Yes, Prabhu, we're going to conquer the world. Yes. And then we realize maybe it's not as simple as I thought. Anishtita bhajana kriya, ghana tarala, thick and thin, some days inspired, some days not. Vyuda vikalpa, oscillation of the mind. Prabhu, should I be a brahmachari? No, you need some space, I'll be a grihastha. But no, then I'll have to work and pay bills. I should be a brahmachari. Constantly oscillating. And then we decide, not brahmachari, not grihastha, maybe brahmastra. I'll go for the middle option, the middle way. No, don't. So like this, so many characteristics of anistita bhajan. So when we are a little introspective, then we can begin to see where we are. Of course, then we also have sadhus. We also have the saintly people. They say it's difficult to see the picture when you're inside the frame. And so we have others who tell us like, yeah, just relax. This is what you need to do. So through sadhu sangha, through shastra, svadhyay, and to be honest, through deep introspection, we become aware of where we're really at. And the most mystical thing about Vaishnava life is that as one gets closer and closer to Krishna, they feel themselves to be further and further away. This is also very mysterious. Kaviraj Goswami says, Premera svabhava yaha premera sambandh se mane Krishna mora nahi prema gandh. The very svabhav of prem is that the devotee thinks, say mane, in their mind they think, Krishna mora nahi prema gandh. I don't have one drop of love for Krishna. So it's very mysterious, but yes, there is guidance helping us to understand where we are. And of course, as one is maturing to a more spontaneous stage, then they will begin to see symptoms in themselves, but mostly the Vaishnavas will guide them. As we want to enter that life of more natural attraction to Krishna, it must be guided by a great devotee. Therefore, tistan vrajay tadanuragi jananugami. You have to follow in the footsteps of someone who has rag. So like this, Vaishnav life, we're walking together with many Vaishnavas and they are safely taking us along the path. Otherwise, we may try to run and then fall into some traps along the way, not being attentive. Is that okay? Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for the nice topic. So I have this question that we say that Krishna never steps outside Vrindavan, and we have read in Krishna book, Prabhupada says that Krishna includes all the incarnations of Vishnu. So there is Vishnu's job is to maintain, kill the demons and establish the religious principles. So that part of Krishna goes out and then does the job.
Yes.
So I just want to understand who do we say, because Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita in Kuruksetra, so he's outside Vrindavan. So when he says that I am the source of everything, aham sarvasya prabhavo, when we worship Krishna based on Bhagavad Gita that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is this Vasudev Krishna, is he Vishnu or he is Krishna?
Yes. Of course, Krishna is very mysterious, and how he exchanges and lives out his different personalities we cannot understand. It's interesting, we say that Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, his heart, he's always in Vrindavan. But then even we see that Krishna is in Dwaraka, and he's always remembering Vrindavan. So in one sense, which Krishna is that then? Is that the Vrindavan Krishna remembering Vrindavan, or is that Dwarkadish? So it's very mysterious When we say Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, of course we're understanding that very deep point of tattva, that Krishna is so attached to Vrindavan, he cannot live without Vrindavan. It just wouldn't work. So that's the deep point of tattva that we're understanding. When Krishna is on the battlefield of Kuruksetra, then yes, dharma sanstha panarthaya. Bhagavad Gita is a book of dharma. One of our acharyas says that what is the very first syllable of the Bhagavad Gita? Dhritarashtra, Dhri. And what is the very last syllable of the Bhagavad Gita? Dhruvanitir matir ma. So he says the whole Bhagavad Gita is encased in dharma. And what does Krishna come to do? Dharma sanstha panarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So we can see, yes, Krishna appears in Kuruksetra on the battlefield as in that role to establish dharma. But at any point, Krishna assumes different bhavs, so we can't limit Krishna. But yes, that is the understanding. Is that okay? Okay, I guess there can be more questions, but we have to begin the journey. Otherwise, you may never reach Vrindavan. Then you'll be here. We're still here. This is Vrindavan, but let us begin the journey. In this next minutes that we have, 45 minutes or so, what I want to share with you is that there are 3 dimensions in which we can see Kuruksetra. There are 3 ways, 3 lenses in which we can see Kuruksetra. And as we see Kuruksetra through each of these lenses, then it helps us to understand what qualifications we require to reach Vrindavan. And the first dimension of Kuruksetra that I want to share with you is that Kuruksetra is a Yuddha Kshetra. Of course, we know all the armies had assembled in Kuruksetra. Kuruksetra was known as a religious place. Actually, it's explained in a very, very beautiful verse from the Tantra. Kuruksetra krite tirtham tretayam pushkaram smrite dvapare naimisharanyam navakhanda kalo kila. That in every yuga, one holy place becomes the prominent one. So in Satya Yuga, which is the prominent holy place? Kuruksetra krite tirtham. Kuruksetra in Satya Yuga is said to be the prominent place. In Treta Yuga, which is the prominent holy place? Pushkar. In Dwapar Yuga, which is said to be the prominent place? Naimisharanya. And in Kali Yuga, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, what is the most prominent holy place? Navadvip, yes. It said that Navadvip will become revealed more and more. But because Kuruksetra was the holy place of Satya Yuga, of course, Tirthas are eternal, and therefore its influence was always revered through the ages. In Kuruksetra, so many amazing things happened. This is the place where it said, Bali Maharaj, we just celebrated Vaman Dvadashi, isn't it? This is the place where Bali Maharaj gave the charity. He said that this is the place from which Brahmaji created the universe. So this is where Parashuram also came. So many, many things happened here. So we're going to look at Kuruksetra as a Yuddha Kshetra. We're going to look at Kuruksetra as a Dharma Kshetra. Because on Kuruksetra, there wasn't just a battle, but there was a samvadam, dharmyam samvadam avayo. There was a great conversation in which dharma was established. And when we see Kuruksetra as the Dharma Kshetra, we get another ingredient to understand. And then we are also going to see that Kuruksetra has a third dimension, which is that it is Viraha Kshetra, the place of separation. And if you want to go to Vrindavan, if you want to get the ticket, if you want to get the visa, then you have to understand the lessons that Kuruksetra is teaching us through these 3 dimensions. So the first dimension of Kuruksetra is that it is a battlefield. And when Arjun was on the battlefield of Kuruksetra and he was about to embark on that battle, then he became overcome by weakness of heart. And Krishna scolded him. You can repeat after me. Glebhyam asmagama partha Netatvai upapadyate Shudram hridaya balyam Tyaktvateshta parantapa. O son of Pritha, do not yield to this degrading impotence. It does not become you. Give up such petty weakness of heart and arise, O chastiser of the enemy. The first lesson that Kuruksetra teaches us as a battlefield is that if you want to go to Vrindavan and make that journey, first you have to give up weakness of heart. First you have to be able to fight in this world which is full of so many obstacles, so many difficulties, so many disappointments. This world is one big disaster zone. Mamupetya punarjanma dukhalayam shashvatam. And unless you become a spiritual warrior, unless you overcome weakness of heart, you will not have the strength to navigate the chaos of this world. And if you don't have the strength to navigate the chaos of this world, then the heart will not be prepared to awaken higher emotions. If we're completely emotionally bewildered by the things that happen here, there will be no room to awaken spiritual emotions. And therefore, the first thing that Krishna says to Arjun is give up your weakness of heart. Just quickly to ask you, you can shout out and then I'll repeat on the mic. What do you think, or how do you think weakness of heart manifests in your life? Yes. Attachments. Yes. Anarthas, attachments. These are the weaknesses of heart. What other ways? Fear, fear of the future. Desire to lord it over nature. Expectations. Disconnection with Krishna. Anger. Greed. Lust. Okay, now this is becoming like a therapy session. Anarthas, anonymous. Don't worry, we have 12 steps. 3 steps today. Envy of success. It takes an advanced person to be compassionate in someone else's distress, but it takes an incredibly advanced person to be happy in someone else's success. You can be compassionate when someone is down, but can you be happy when someone is on the up? Very difficult. So yes, we have so many weaknesses of heart. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, Arjuna was addressed as the son of Pritha who happened to be the sister of Krishna's father Vasudeva. Therefore Arjuna had a blood relationship with Krishna. If the son of a Kshatriya declines to fight, he is a Kshatriya in name only. And if the son of a Brahmana acts impiously, he is a Brahmana in name only. Such Kshatriyas and Brahmanas are unworthy sons of their fathers. Therefore, Krishna did not want Arjuna to become an unworthy son of a Kshatriya. Arjuna was the most intimate friend of Krishna, and Krishna was directly guiding him on the chariot. But in spite of all these credits, if Arjuna abandoned the battle, he would be committing an infamous act. You see, it takes strength to face all of the demons in our own heart. Once we had taught someone japa, and then he came back to us 2 months later and he said, Prabhu, I got to leave this movement. I said, why? Since I've been chanting, I'm becoming a worse person. I said, no, it was all there. Now you're seeing it. So it's like that. When we see all of this in our heart, it's easier just to try to brush it under the carpet, lock it away in the closet, try to ignore it, and just walk away thinking, no, it's okay, I'm doing okay, I'm fine. It takes so much strength to fight in this world. And therefore, every devotee has to become a spiritual warrior. You see, Shastra is understood literally. Shastra is also understood didactically. We get lessons from it. But Shastra is also metaphorically understood. So even Srila Prabhupada says this. He says the battle of Kuruksetra signifies the hard existence on this battlefield of life that we're living. Many spiritual practitioners, they're sincere, but because they don't have the strength of being a spiritual warrior, when the waves and the difficulties of life come, they're unable to navigate it, and therefore they fall away from spiritual life. So what we tell people is that there are, you can say broadly speaking, 3 battlefields on which the devotee is fighting. The soul, the Sangha, and society. What is happening is that there's a constant threat in the world of degradation. And what the bhakta has to do is they have to be constantly fighting for elevation and purity. So on the soul level, on the individual level, we're always being dragged down by anarthas. We're being dragged down by attachments. We're being dragged down by offenses. And therefore the devotee has to be a spiritual warrior to always fight against these things, to always address them, to always try to strive for purity, to look deep within one's heart and uproot all of those things which are blocking the flow of love towards Krishna. In a Sangha, there is also the opportunity of degradation. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he says, the religious institution is a necessary evil. We need Sangha. How will we do it without Sangha? But in a society, there is always the chance of degradation. It can become about power. It can become about prestige. It can become about popularity. There can be disunity. And therefore, there's always a constant threat in the Sangha of degradation. And therefore, the spiritual warrior always has to fight and always, oh Krishna, always has to fight and always try to be that positive influence in the Sangha to bring purity back. And the devotee is also a spiritual warrior out there in the world. Because in the world there is atheism, there is materialism. There are all kinds of, everyone's trying to take God out of the picture. The economists are trying to take God out of the picture, saying we'd be wealthier if there was no God. The politicians are trying to take God out of the picture. No, separate the state from God. The scientists are trying to take God out of the picture. No, we've answered all the questions. And therefore there's a constant degradation in society, and a devotee has to fight against that. So can you begin to see how so much of the identity of being a devotee is that you have to be a spiritual warrior. You have to be strong. You have to always be fighting against degradation, which is basically the modus operandi of the material world. Everything is coming down. And I'm not just referring to the law of gravity. Everything is coming down. And therefore constantly. And the amazing thing is that our battle on each of these levels facilitates our battle on the other level. So when we're fighting the battle on the level of the soul and we're genuinely trying to be a sincere devotee, then when it comes to fighting the degradation in the Sangha, we become empowered to be a positive change maker, to bring the Sangha up. And when as a Sangha we're powerful, when we are living, breathing, experiencing Krishna consciousness, and then when we go out in the world to try to fight against the degradation of the world, then we become more qualified, more powerful to change the world as a team. And so the first thing we're learning from the Bhagavad Gita and Kuruksetra is that life is a battlefield. And the first thing Krishna says to Arjuna is that you have to give up your weakness. You have to be strong. You have to fight. You have to try to embrace higher principles. And be brave, be bold, be courageous, be determined, and be resilient. Once a guru, he was asked, how should I react to challenges? And the guru said, bring 3 cups of boiling water. And in the first cup of boiling water, he put a potato. And after some time, the potato just fell apart. And he said, don't be like this. In the second cup, he put some soft, fluffy cotton wool. He put it into the boiling water. And then after some minutes, it came out and it was shrunken, hard, and very reduced. He said, don't become like this. Some people, when they face challenges, they just become hard-hearted and cut themselves off from everything. And then in the final cup, he put herbs. And after a few moments, a beautiful fragrance came out. He said, yes, when you go through tests, realize it's Krishna churning the purity out of your heart. But it's not easy. Burijan Prabhu, he made this beautiful prayer in Govardhan. In Govardhan, you see sometimes the sugarcane machines. So he saw the sugarcane machine and he made this beautiful prayer. May the hard, crushing wheel of life extract some humility from my offense-hardened heart, and may the nectar of that humility give rise to pure love for Krishna. So when we become spiritual warriors in this world and we fight, it becomes purifying and humbling. And with that humility, we become more qualified to develop some real prema, because there's no prema without dainya. And so the first thing I want to share with you is that we have to fight. Spiritual life, sometimes we think of Vrindavan and it's sweet, isn't it? Vrindavan is a sweet place, full of madhurya. But before you get to that place of madhurya, you have to fight a little bit. Otherwise, you can't make that journey. So this is the first dimension that I wanted to share with you. Let me just pause there and see whether anyone has any questions or anything you'd like to ask about this first. Yes, Prabhu? Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. So I have a question about, you have brought about this very nice point of being a spiritual warrior and the 3 level which we are fighting. Sometime I have experienced myself, though I have a tendency to see offense in devotees, but sometimes I really feel that some devotee, they are doing a lot of services, but they, I perceive that they have a tinge of they want prestige, or they, you talk about disunity and some other things, and sometimes they speak also to me ki okay, don't do this with those devotees. In a sangha of devotees, and then we tend to if they are senior, in most of the case they are senior, so we commit offenses in the mind, and we say ki how come, and then it becomes little disappointing for us, how these things are happening, within even within our seniors, and then that offense goes to that struggle goes to the soul level and those offenses. So yeah.
Yes, thank you. Very practical point. Yes, so sometimes we're in the sangha of devotees and shock, horror. We see that everyone's not a pure devotee, and everyone has a few anarthas, and everyone's falling short. And even sometimes those who are senior in positions of authority sometimes even display their own weakness. I'm happy you raised this point. The first thing I want to say is when I say we're fighting on the level of the Sangha, we should also not think that we should come in as the reformer. I am the reformer of ISKCON. And I will now tell everyone. No, we're fighting mainly by example first. By being the change you want to see in the world. That's the first thing. So just to clarify that point. But yes, sometimes we see weakness in other devotees. So how do we respond to that? Because it can become seemingly offensive, or it can become seemingly discouraging to us when we see the weaknesses in other devotees.
Yeah, I mean, I was asking from like our perspective, like when we see those things happen,
Yeah, how should we
become,
react
like,
to it?
offensive, and
Yeah.
then it hurts.
Yeah, and then it harms us. Yes. So how should we respond to that? The first thing is, one devotee came to Srila Prabhupada and he said, I just can't tolerate this devotee anymore. And Prabhupada said, you have to tolerate him just as I'm tolerating you. So we have this tendency to think that we're tolerating everyone and everyone out there has the problems. And then the first thing when we see that is we should realize, they say a lot of what you're able to see in others is probably something we have within ourselves also. Of course, there is a famous English saying, it takes one. Maybe, just maybe, some of that plays true. So the first thing is we should realize I'm also in purification. They express their weakness like this. My weakness may be something else. Everyone has weaknesses. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur also said that when faults in others misguide you, then be patient, introspect, and look for faults within yourself. Know that nobody can harm you unless you harm yourself. The second thing is, when we are Vaishnavas, we are having a very magnanimous vision. One devotee used to tell me, don't see how far they are from the goal, but see how far they've come from where they were. Sometimes a devotee may say something, like little strong. But 10 years ago, if they were in the same situation, they may have given you like a few slaps on the face. I mean, that's the reality. You think like, oh, yes, these guys improved actually, it's like amazing. But no, we see, pure devotee, he's falling short. Like, my God, titikshava, karunika, surida, sarvadehinam. It's like, okay, but look where he was. Be kind. People have changed. It takes time to change. And then what can we say? The third thing is that everyone in our life is put there not so much so that we can try to judge them, but to teach us something about ourselves. Yeah? I had that deep realization that I feel some people were strategically placed in my life just to teach me tolerance. Now I know all the images are going in your heads, so all the people, don't do that. Even like Bhaktisiddhanta once, he used to walk out of Chaitanya Math and he used to walk towards the Jalangi. And on the way there was one man who was always shouting. He said, oh, you guys, parasites, why don't you get a job? You're just living, not doing anything useful. Every day he used to. And then one day Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur came and that man wasn't there. So he said, hey, where's that man? He said, oh no, he passed away. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur lament. He said, oh no, he passed away. All the devotees were like, Jai, like they were. He said, no, he was there. He was keeping me humble. He was reminding me. So, I know it's easy to say in a class, what can we do? We have to keep repeating. We have to become like this. We have to become Vaishnav. Vaishnav doesn't just mean how many rounds you chant, how many shlokas you know. Vaishnav means, can you act with saintliness when people display their maya before you? Can you rise beyond someone's maya and try to serve them, to uplift them? One German writer, he says, treat a man as he is and he'll remain as he is. But treat someone as they can and should be, And maybe they'll become what they can and should be. But that requires great saintliness. So we have to learn this. This is why Sangha is so powerful, because we learn these things. So yeah, these are some thoughts. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. One of the often say to not to instruct the glories of the holy name to faithless and atheist. So one time I had a kind of a conflict with a devotee, means he's a Vaishnava but not accepting Krishna or Radha Krishna, means either they worship only Vishnu or not the energy of the Lord, only either Krishna, not even Lakshmi. So that time we are glorifying how Hare Krishna is together, but it was going in a different direction. So my question is it also considered an offense to glorify about Krishna is the supreme, then Vishnu is next expansion, those people who have faith that Vishnu is supreme and Ram is my supreme. In that context, is it to be better to be silent, because anyway we all accept Vishnu as the central, but it is necessary to again reinforce our statement and educate them about the Krishna is the supreme. So what should be the position?
Oh, thank you. So nice question. Thank you so much. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was traveling in South India, he opened up the opportunity for everyone. First thing is he did it in a nice way. When he went to Sri Rangam and he was in the house of Venkata Bhatta, I just have a small question for you. And then he began, isn't it? Your Narayan and Krishna, they are different. Venkata says, no, there's no controversy here. They're the same. No, but I have a question for you. So he started planting the seed, isn't it? And then Venkata Bhatta came to the realization, Siddhantatastva Devi Shri Shakrishna Svarupayo Rasanot Krishyate Krishna Rupamesha Rasa Stiti. In Siddhanta, there's no difference between Vishnu and Krishna. But in Rasa, then there's a difference. So Venkata Bhatta understood. Similarly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu presented to many others. Rama Bhakta, he told him, chant Krishna's names. And the Rama Bhakta changed. And sometimes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told individuals, no, Krishna. 3 names of Ram is equal to, is it? Yeah, 3 names of Ram. No, 1,000 names is equal to 1 name of Ram. Okay, yeah. There you go. My maths is a bit off today. So he said, chant Krishna's names. Rama Bhakta changed. But then Murari Gupta could not change. So did Mahaprabhu tell him, no, you have to, no, you are Hanuman. So I think from Mahaprabhu's example, we open it up in a very kind way for people. Not in a judgmental way, not in a condescending way. We open it up in a very kind way. And then we see what the openness is. If the openness is there, pursue. And if the openness is not there, it could be worse. It could be worse after all, like you could be thinking. Gauranga Prabhu, he tells the story of Radheshyam Prabhu, who came from a South Indian Brahmin family, So when he joined Krishna, he was chanting japa. And then one time he came to the devotees, he said, Prabhu, my mind in japa. So we get all kinds of material desires. One devotee said, my mind in japa is like a horror movie. So Radheshyam Prabhu, he came to he said, my mind in japa period. So then the devotee said, what's the problem? He said, all these Sanskrit mantras keep coming into my mind. They're diverting me from the Maha Mantra. The devotee thought, my God, it could be 100 times worse than that, Like for him, his diversion was that all these mantras from the Shastra, from his childhood, were coming up while he was chanting the Maha Mantra. Like, I could do with that problem, I'll take it. I'll take your problem, Prabhu. You take mine. So, if someone is worshipping Vishnu, worshipping Bal Gopal, it's beautiful. It's wonderful. Manushanam Sahasreshu, how many are there? So, but we always open up. Devotee is never. Devotee want to see how far you can take someone, isn't it? So there, we try and then we see. Is that okay? Okay, the time is going and 2 steps still required. So let me move on and then we'll. So first dimension of Kuruksetra is we're remembering it's a Yuddha Kshetra. Let us remember on the journey we have to become spiritual warriors. But then Kuruksetra is also a Dharma Kshetra. Because there many yagyas were done, and there, more importantly than even all of that, the conversation of the Bhagavad Gita was taking place. So now, in the fight against Maya, one thing is very, very important. And in the 8th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada says this, when commentating on the fight between Gajendra and the crocodile. Srila Prabhupada says, now, from this we may take the lesson that in our fight with Maya, we should not be in a position in which our strength, enthusiasm and senses will be unable to fight vigorously. Our Krishna consciousness movement has actually declared war against the illusory energy in which all the living entities are rotting in a false understanding of civilization. The soldiers in this Krishna consciousness movement must always possess physical strength, enthusiasm and sensual power. To keep themselves fit, they must therefore place themselves in a normal condition of life. What constitutes a normal condition will not be the same for everyone, and therefore there are divisions of Varnashram Dharma. Bhagavad Gita is a book of Dharma. It's a Dharma Samvad, a conversation in which we're learning how to live our Dharma. Each of us have a Swadharma and each of us have a Sanatan Dharma. And therefore, what we're learning in Kuruksetra is that on this battlefield, this conversation of Dharma was taking place. And if we want to develop bhakti, then finding our Dharma is incredibly, incredibly important. Here, Srila Prabhupada makes the point that Gajendra was much stronger than the crocodile, but because Gajendra was a land animal and he was in the water, he became weaker and weaker and weaker. So yes, we have to be spiritual warriors, but we also have to be situated in our Dharma. Forgive me, I'm just going to skip some slides here because we're short of time. But basically, what Arjuna does in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita is he says to Krishna, I have a dharma samuda, I have a confusion of what is my dharma. And therefore the whole conversation of the Bhagavad Gita is all about dharma, how to find your ultimate dharma. And then the ironic thing is right at the end of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityaja. Anyway, that is another conversation. This is some people don't understand this. Why does Krishna say Sarva dharman parityaja? Even some commentators say, no, it's a mistake. Sarva adharma parityaja. That sounds more realistic. But no, it stands true because there is a apara dharma and there is a para dharma. Savai pumsham paro dharmo. And therefore when Krishna says sarva dharman parityaja, he's saying give up all lower dharmas if they don't serve the higher purpose, the higher dharma of developing love. But generally in our life, by finding our dharma in this life and being situated properly in this life, we can then develop the paradharma or the love for Krishna. And therefore, in the conversation of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is basically helping answer Arjuna's confusions about dharma. When we look at our life, maybe we have some of these confusions ourselves. What is my dharma? Do you sometimes think, what should I be doing? What is my duty? How should I be using my psychophysical nature? Or sometimes we wonder, how do I balance my different dharmas? I have a dharma with my family, I have a dharma to society, I have my Sanatan dharma in my spiritual journey, and how do I balance all of them? Sometimes we wonder, even though I know what is my dharma, why do I keep doing someone else's dharma? Sometimes we don't know, how does my dharma connect to my bhakti? And sometimes we think, should I give up my dharma? Should I just leave it all behind and just go to Vrindavan? So sometimes we all have these same dharma shamuda, the same confusions that Arjuna had. And so what we're learning from Kuruksetra in the second dimension is that it's a dharma kshetra. It's a place in which we can learn what is our dharma. And when your dharma is strongly situated, clearly established, then it will be much easier to develop the higher aspects of prema. So, and ultimately, let us remember that all of that dharma, if it doesn't lead us to becoming more attracted to Krishna, Shrama eva hi kevalam. This is the most emphatic statement. Eva hi kevalam. Eva means only, he means certainly, and keva means exclusively. So it means it's certainly, particularly, exclusively, shrama, a useless waste of time. There's this notion in the Hindu community sometimes that if I do all of my dharmas perfectly, then I'm already spiritual. No, but if you do all your dharmas, but they're not connected to Krishna, they're not awakening love, attraction, then it doesn't actually fulfill its purpose. And so the second dimension of Kuruksetra is that it's teaching us, embrace your dharma. Sorry, I'm going a little bit quick. This is actually a 4-day seminar, but I'm just going quick. The final dimension of Kuruksetra is that Kuruksetra is also a viraha kshetra. Because long before the battle of Kuruksetra took place, long before the conversation of Dharma took place on Kuruksetra, something happened at Kuruksetra when Krishna was about 50 years old. And that teaches us the final ingredient required in order to enter Vrindavan. The final ingredient required to enter into Vrindavan is that one has to learn the art of how to cry for Krishna. You see, Krishna won't come until you cry. When Krishna left the rasa dance and the gopis were looking for Krishna, and then they sung the Gopi Geet, after singing all these beautiful verses, still Krishna had not appeared, even though they sung so beautifully. And even after all those verses, Krishna had not come. So what the gopis did is they went to the banks of the Yamuna. And then what did they do? They just cried. And when they cried, then Krishna appeared. Because Krishna will appear when we have an intense desperation. And that intense desperation is actually exhibited through crying. One great saint in our movement would say, we are not opening temples, we're opening crying houses, where people can come to learn the art of how to cry for Krishna. But often our tears in this world carry many, many different emotions behind them, which are not always spiritual. How many things have we cried for in the material world out of attachment? Madhvacharya, he says, if you add up and gather all the tears that the conditioned soul has shed for lifetimes, it would be enough to fill an ocean. Because we've cried for so many things. So there is the cry of the samsarika, someone who is crying, oh, it didn't work out, I lost my job, India lost the World Cup. Crying for so many things. Then there's the cry of the samsarika, then there's the cry of the sahajya, prakrita sahajya, isn't it? They cry for Krishna. Oh, Krishna! They cry, but actually it's just because they want attention. There's no genuine emotion there, just crying superficially. That kind of crying will not work. Then above that is the cry of the sadhaka. Because Krishna, Srila Prabhupada says, when you chant Hare Krishna, it's like the cry of a child for its mother. So we have to cry as a sadhaka. And then when we cry as a sadhaka, then eventually we will cry as a siddha. So some people are crying as samsarikas. Some people are crying as sahajyas. But then may we become sadhakas who cry for Krishna. And then eventually one day, maybe we become siddhas who cry for Krishna. Nowadays I'm flying a lot, and when you're like 6'5", like one necessity is to try to get the emergency seat. Legroom. So I'm pretty successful nowadays, like I got like a good rate. Nowadays it's possible to get the emergency seat. So once I was on a flight to Cairo, and I got the emergency seat, and no one else was there. All the seats were empty, and I had the emergency seat, all the leg room in the world. So I thought, wow, brilliant. Now I can do my bhajan. And then just as the plane was closing, a rush of people came in, and then all the seats got filled up. But do you know that the emergency seat, with every good thing in this world, there's always a snag. And do you know what the danger with the emergency seats is? You can't recline. No, you can recline. The danger of the emergency seat is that's also where the babies hang out. Is it? Because they have the cots, the place for the cot. So on this day, I thought I had my bhajan place, then it got packed, and then there was a baby. A newly born baby. And I tell you what, the younger they are, the louder they cry. And so here I was in this Egypt air, and the baby was on full form. God, this has just got like from bad to worse. And then I remembered Srila Prabhupada said, cry like a baby for the mother. So you can try this out. What I did is I closed my eyes, and every time the baby screeched, I was like, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. So I tried to internalize the cry of the baby and factor it into my japa. And I tell you, it was actually pretty amazing. I tried some good rounds there. And as I was getting off the plane, I prayed, may the cry of the samsarika become the cry of the sadhaka, so that one day it will be the cry of the siddha up there in the spiritual world. So we have to learn how to cry for Krishna. And in Kuruksetra, we learn how to cry for Krishna, because Kuruksetra is the place in which the deepest emotions of love were expressed by Krishna's most confidential devotees. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, sometimes he made controversial statements. Like one time he said, Hiranyakashipu proclaimed the glories of Nishingadev much better than Prahlad. I was like, really? Why? Because it was Nishinga, it was Hiranyakashipu's aggression that brought out the love of Nishingadev for his devotee. And then everyone's like, okay, yeah, now it makes sense. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur sometimes made, he said some people are interested in Radharani because of her connection with Krishna. But we're interested in Krishna because of his connection with Radharani. No one had heard that one. But then, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said one thing, and his disciple, Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, he said, when I heard Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur say this, I fell. I just couldn't understand what was he saying. And you know what he said? Kuruksetra is the best place for bhajan. Only bogus, hollow people favor Vrindavan. Put your hand up if you've been to Vrindavan. Put your hand up if you want to go to Vrindavan. Put your hand up if you're bogus and hollow. No. Don't put your hand up. This is amazing. What does this actually mean? Kuruksetra is the best place for bhajan? And Vrindavan is only for hollow people? What does this mean? It's very mysterious. So Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, he said, when I heard this, I nearly fainted. I said, well, how can our Gaudiya teacher say this? And then he said, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur then quoted his own spiritual master. And this is what Bhaktivinoda Thakur said. I would like to spend the last days of my life in Kuruksetra. Wow. I shall construct a cottage near Brahmakund and pass the rest of my days there. Kuruksetra is the real place of bhajan. Change your tickets, folks. What does this mean? It's fascinating, isn't it? Now, the first thing I want to say is when acharyas make statements like this, that bogus, hollow people go to, it's not that they're putting anything down. But what they are trying to do is bring a special attention to something else. So when, of course, Vrindavan is our cherished destination, but out of his ecstasy, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was highlighting Kuruksetra is a very, very special place. And why is Kuruksetra very, very special? Because Kuruksetra is a place of separation. In glorification of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, in one song, it said, as a follower of Sri Gauranga, he is the revealer of Kuruksetra, Purushottam and Alalnath as places of pastimes comprised of searching for Krishna. Kuruksetra is very, very special because here you see this picture. When Krishna was 50 years old, he was in Dwarka. And of course, he had left Vrindavan. And when he had left Vrindavan, he had made the promise, I will come back. So the Brajabasis were in a suspended existence. When Krishna had left Vrindavan, they were stunned. They couldn't function as normal people. When Akrura came, the gopis said, Akrura, you are like a Yamaduta. And Kamsa is like Yamaraj. Just as the Yamadutas come at the time of death and they snatch the soul away from the body, you've taken Krishna from Vrindavan, you've taken the soul of our life. And therefore the gopis, they were stunned. And it said that the gopis, they were living in a suspended existence. They said, we can't live because Krishna has left. But we can't also die because we're living by the rope of hope because Krishna said he'll come back. So we are like ghosts. We're living, but we're not living. And all this time, Krishna was in Dwarka. And then Krishna thought, let me pacify the hearts of the gopis. And therefore, on the solar eclipse day, Krishna came to Kuruksetra. And a simultaneous invitation was sent to all the Brajabasis to also come to Kuruksetra. And there in Kuruksetra, Krishna met with the gopis after a long time. It was the same gopis, it was the same Krishna, but the aesthetics of the situation this time were very, very different. This time it wasn't the Yamuna as the background. This time it wasn't the groves of Vrindavan under the moonlit sky of Vrindavan. This time it wasn't the peacocks. This time they were in Kuruksetra and Krishna had come as a king. Krishna had come as Dwarkadish. Krishna had come with his large royal retinue. And therefore the gopis came close, face to face with Krishna. And in that moment, they were so close to Krishna, but still they were feeling great separation. Because they were looking at Krishna saying, we haven't seen you for so long, and now we're right in front of you, but still our hearts are not meeting your heart because we're so close, yet we are in a situation in which we can't reveal and express our true feelings for you. Because there's too much formality, there's too much opulence, there's too much reverence here. Therefore, Krishna, we just want to take you back to Vrindavan. And there in Vrindavan, we can have our pastimes of love. But there in Kuruksetra, they were so close to Krishna, yet still they were feeling very far away because they couldn't fully express what was in their heart. And therefore, it's said that Kuruksetra is the place of viraha, separation. It's the place where the emotions of the gopis reach their apex because they're so close to Krishna, yet they still can't enjoy with Krishna to their heart's content. And in Kuruksetra, it's said that Radharani's ecstasy reaches its zenith. And when someone is in their greatest hour of need, when they're in their greatest pain, if you come to serve them, then you will become very, very dear to their heart. And therefore the acharyas say, I won't go to Vrindavan. Rather, I'll go to Kuruksetra. And in Kuruksetra, I will serve, honor, and become subservient to Srimati Radharani and the gopis who are experiencing such love for Krishna. And becoming subservient to them, that will be the perfection of my life. And so in Kuruksetra, we learn about separation, we learn about desperation, we learn about crying for Krishna. And ultimately, one cannot get to Vrindavan unless they learn the art of how to cry for Krishna. And therefore, in Kuruksetra, we are learning this. We have to have this deep mood of separation. And this is the final thing I'll say, and then I'll stop because I know we're going over time. You may say, but how can we have that separation? So Rupa Goswami explains that there are 4 types of separation. Purva rag means the kind of separation you experience in anticipation of meeting your beloved. Man is the type of separation which comes from transcendental pride, isn't it? Sometimes you have an argument with someone and then there's some distance. And therefore that distance is created by pride, and that creates a separation. Then there is prema vaichitya. This is a type of separation which you experience even when you're in the presence of that person, because you're anticipating that in the future we will be separated. And then there is pravas, which is a type of separation in which we are physically distanced by time and space. So we are here in the material world. How will we experience separation from Krishna? Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says there's only one type of separation that we can experience in our current situation. Which of the 4 do you think it is? Pravas? It's not pravas, because pravas means you're together and then you're separated. But we don't even remember being with Krishna. Is it prema vaichitya? No, because we're not with Krishna. And is it man, assault? But no, we're not interacting with Krishna in that way. He says the only type of separation we can experience is purva rag, the separation which comes in anticipation that in the future I will meet Krishna. But then the question is, we don't remember being with Krishna. So where does that anticipation of meeting Krishna come from? Where does that sense of longing come from? So this is what Bhaktivinoda Thakur says. It is essential for the sadhaka jivas to cultivate only the mood of vipralamba. To cultivate only the mood of vipralamba. And because they have never experienced meeting with Krishna, their vipralamba will come only in the category of purvarag. But without having ever met with Krishna, how can they experience separation in purvarag from him? By hearing the Leela Katha of Sri Krishna from others, purvarag is awakened. This was the case with the Dvijapatnis as well as the ladies of Mathura before Krishna's arrival there. Rukmini also had never seen Krishna, but by hearing about him from Sri Narad, purvarag arose within her heart. Thus she became exceedingly anxious to meet with Krishna. Similarly, by hearing from the Guru and Vaishnavas, or by reading the Shastras, the jivas may have purvarag vipralamba awakened within their hearts. So we need to learn the art of how to cry for Krishna instead of crying for all the things of this world. But that means we constantly have to hear about Krishna, soften our hearts, become attracted, and feel that anticipation. It is not artificial, it cannot be imitated, it has to arise deep within one's consciousness. And that is our prayer. And when that separation is there, then one will be able to cry. Otherwise, sometimes we cry in front of Krishna, but it's a lot of material frustration behind our tears, not so much spiritual longing. So I'll end with a poem from His Holiness Sachinanda Maharaj, who I think sums it up beautifully. This is what he writes in his poem, The Road of Tears. The disappointed disciple with a heavy heart speaks, "Who can say I never tried? All those mantras I've chanted, all those vows that kept me awake for so many lonely nights, all those pilgrimages, sacrifices, holy baths in ice-cold water. What to speak of persistently ignoring the requests of my mind and senses to do what is most dear to them. And the result? Nothing. All this has brought me to at present is desperation. The old emptiness in my heart has only become greater." Can you relate to it? The Guru replies, "It seems you have not done your best to come before the divine couple. But have you ever tried to act in such a way that they come before you? Have you yet built your road of tears, your road for them, the road of tears?" The disciple, road of tears? What tears? Guru, tears of the soul. There are different kinds of tears. Body tears, we cry in physical pain. Mind tears, we cry when emotionally hurt. And sweet tears that come from the soul as it awakens to its only real need. The soul's need is to enter into the one relationship. And this road of tears can't be found on any map. It begins from your own heart, but it is so attractive to the divine couple that they cannot even imagine ignoring it. Just to begin building this road, makes them feel that they must come before you. The disciple, does this road need many tears? I've cried all my tears for other things. I'm completely empty inside. How can I possibly build this road? The Guru enthusiastically, don't worry. There are oceans of tears arrested in your heart. You only need to learn to direct them to the right cause. Then they become released. But before a downpour, there is a flash of lightning. Similarly, there has to be a divine revelation. The golden Radha and the cloud blue Krishna have to appear in the heart. Then the water gushes forth, sweet tears of longing for the Lord, whom you once gave up. His Holiness Satchidananda Maharaj ki. Wasn't that beautiful? Such a nice... thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So yes, thank you so much for your kindness. So just to recap, today we are talking about the road to Vrindavan. We began by seeing Kuruksetra as a Yuddha Kshetra. Let us become strong, not shy away from the battles that we have to fight in order to purify our hearts. And then we saw Kuruksetra as a Dharma Kshetra. Let's look very deeply at how we can embrace Dharma in our life in such a way that it awakens us to the higher Dharma, which is love for Krishna. And finally, we see Kuruksetra as a Viraha Kshetra. Let us remember that yes, we can follow all the rules and regulations, all the Dharma. We can overcome our anarthas, but then ultimately we have to learn the art of how to cry for Krishna. And therefore we gain inspiration from Kuruksetra, in which these deep emotions were exhibited by Krishna's most confidential devotees. And like this, may you reach Vrindavan via Kuruksetra. Kuruksetra Dham ki, Shri Vrindavan Dham ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande.
His Holiness Svayam Bhagavan Keshava Maharaj ki. Gaur Premanande. Dear Maharaj, I think you are the lightning flash for us in that poem. Just thinking about you the last couple of days, I feel that lightning flash. For an institution, as you mentioned, there are ways in which I can become pedantic and stale. What's exciting about a movement is when personalities arise who exemplify the teachings of the Sampradaya, who represent them, and especially when it comes from the next generations, show that the lotus pops its head into the top of the water and then becomes beautiful for everyone to see. And I've been thinking how you're like that. You've become effulgent all over the world. And nothing succeeds like success. To see someone come into their own and then become an exemplar of devotional service And thank you very much for doing that, for your service, traveling all over the world. We see you on pictures and everywhere, and it's always that lightning flash. It's beautiful. So we're really grateful you came here. Please make this your home away from home, or at least your orbit. We'll be waiting for you for the next time, and we're really deeply grateful for all you're doing around the world, and especially grateful for you coming here to ISKCON of Silicon Valley. If anybody agrees with some of my sentiments, either in part or if you believe in them completely, let's please give Maharaj another appreciation. Hare Krishna. Haribol.
I won't even attempt to try to offer my appreciation in return to His Grace Vaisesika Prabhu, Her Grace Mother Nirakula, and this wonderful community. As I mentioned, on the first day I arrived here, the light that you're sharing with the world and the inspiration that you're generating in devotees' hearts, you may not be aware, but it's really, really creating a revolution. We naturally go where we have sajatiya association, like-minded association, and so it feels very much a home, ISKCON Silicon Valley, and His Grace Vaisesika Prabhu is like, what can I say? Maybe the road of tears might begin here as I start speaking about him. Sometimes I've realized the only empowerment I got in my life is the words of the great superiors who came before me. What the previous generation of devotees have done for us is, I don't know how we're able to repay that. The sacrifices, the complete dedication, the complete renunciation of everything except the mission of Srila Prabhupada. So I don't know what words we can really offer to thank you, but we're just doing something small, standing on the shoulders of giants. And if we're able to do something, it's because of your encouragement. Thank you so much.
Maharaj, if you're able to, I don't know what your exact schedule is, but if you have a few more minutes, we have a short presentation by one of the youth. So if you want to come back here, you can sit, and then we can observe the next talk, which I believe is by Radhika today. Sorry.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj, and thank you to all the devotees. It's such an honor to have you again. And today's presentation by our youth is actually right in between Kuruksetra and Vrindavan. So we're going to hear about pastimes from Mathura. So with that, I'll just hand it over to Radhika.
Oh, wait. Hare Krishna. Okay. Okay. Hare Krishna, my name is Radhika, I'm 13 years old, and my presentation today is going to be on how does Lord Krishna reciprocate with our service. In Bhagavad Gita 4.11, Krishna says, Ye yata mam prapadyante tam stateva bhajamyaham, as all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Lord Krishna reciprocates with our service the way that we serve him, whether it's in a selfless attitude, desiring only to please the Lord, or in a selfish attitude, desiring only for material gains. My presentation is based on stories from the pastime of when Sri Krishna was invited to Mathura by King Kamsa. Okay. There are two types of reciprocations to services, a positive reciprocation and a negative reciprocation. Some stories of a positive reciprocation to services are Krishna gives his darshan to the people of Mathura, Krishna blesses Sudama the florist, and Krishna transforms Kubja. Krishna gives his darshan to the people of Mathura. When Krishna and Balaram entered Mathura, they were flooded by people who longed to get their darshan. People were standing everywhere they could just to get a glimpse of the Lord after hearing about his pastimes in Vrindavan. By coming to Mathura, Krishna relieved their intense desire to take his darshan and serve him. Next is how Krishna blesses Sudama the florist. As the residents of Mathura were rushing outside to take the darshan of the Lord, Sudama stayed inside to work on his garlands. He often went to the forests of Vrindavan to pick flowers, and upon seeing the Lord there, he usually offered the flowers that he had picked to the Lord. In reciprocation to Sudama's service, when Krishna came to Mathura, he asked the residents where the home of Sudama was, and the residents of Mathura guided him towards it. When Krishna entered Sudama's home, Sudama immediately offered his obeisances, and knowing what Krishna had come for, offered the garlands that he had been making to Lord Krishna and his associates. Pleased by Sudama's service, Krishna offered him any benediction he could wish for. But Sudama only wished for transcendental devotion to the Lord, unshakable devotion to the Lord, friendship with all devotees, and transcendental compassion to all living beings. What we offer may not be the greatest or most expensive in a material sense, but if offered with pure love and devotion, the Lord values it. The next story is how Krishna transforms Kubja. As Krishna and Balaram were walking towards the palace, they came upon a hunchbacked lady named Kubja. As the maidservant for King Kamsa, she was carrying a platter full of fragrant-smelling ointments. And seeing this, Krishna asked Kubja if he could have some. Overwhelmed by Krishna's beauty, Kubja immediately agreed and offered the ointments to him, decorating his body in various designs and patterns. Pleased with Kubja's selfless service, Krishna wished to straighten her back. He stepped on her feet with his lotus feet and lifted up her chin, straightening her back and turning her into a beautiful woman. Next is a negative reciprocation to services. A story about a negative reciprocation to service is how Krishna delivers the wicked washerman. While Krishna and Balaram were walking towards the palace, they came upon the royal washerman for King Kamsa. He was carrying a basket full of beautiful garments, and seeing them, Krishna asked the washerman if he could have some. But the washerman rudely declined and chastised Krishna for being a cowherd boy. Angered by the washerman's words, Krishna beheaded him. Our connection with great people can make us so proud that we deride and look down upon those who don't have such privileges. Conclusion. In the Nectar of Devotion, Rupa Goswami states that we should serve Lord Krishna without the desire for material gain. We can see in the stories of Kubja and Sudama that they served the Lord without any personal motives, but only to please the Lord. Whereas we can see in the story of the washerman, though he was loyally serving his master, Kamsa, he was overwhelmed by pride and couldn't see that he was serving the wrong master. Every person can have a specific relationship with Krishna, whether it be a servant, friend, parent, or lover. We should always try to serve Lord Krishna in one of those moods and not to be entangled by fruitive activities and mental speculation. We should also consider each opportunity that we get to serve the Lord and his devotees as Lord Krishna's mercy and be grateful for that. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Radhika. I really liked how you put together the pastimes and you made it compare and contrast. It made it really strong because of the contrast between the washerman and the other two devotees, Sudama and Kubja. And I liked how you also brought in various kinds of shastra to support everything that you said. You couched it in a shastric way so that it was authentic. And I also felt like you had a good feel for it as well. Thank you very much for your courageousness. You're a really good speaker, and your command of putting together a philosophical presentation is really good, and it'll just get better. Keep up the great work. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Any reflections or questions?
Thank you very much. As Maharaj was mentioning, I was also remembering one of the oldest videos of ISV where you are very young and reciting verses. So happy to see you doing this. So one reflection I had when you were mentioning about Sudama, he asked for 3 benedictions, you said.
Yes.
So he asked for unshakable devotion.
Yes.
And friendly relationship with all devotees. And very interesting third one, you said transcendental compassion for all the suffering souls. I particularly like that word, transcendental compassion. So thank you very much. Very neatly done.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to say, yesterday we were with the youth and we were talking about taking a risk for Krishna. So thank you for taking a risk. And you did amazing. And I just wanted to say I loved your point. I had never heard that lesson of how our connection sometimes with people in high positions can make us look down on others. I'd never heard it put like that. So I'll be using that in the forthcoming class, and I will credit you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Actually, when Maharaj said that, it reminded me that I just read how Kritavarma in the Shamataka Jewel got implicated in the fiasco that was the Shamataka Jewel being stolen because of his association with Kamsa also. Kind of goes along with that. What to speak of Dvid had bad association too.
Any other reflections or questions? Oh, yes.
Hare Krishna. I really enjoyed hearing about the pastimes of Mathura, especially with our earlier lecture talking about the difference between Vrindavan and Kuruksetra, and it really put in perspective for me what His Holiness had talked about with in Vrindavan, Krishna reciprocates because there's this equal, like he needs his devotee as much as his devotee needs him. And then on Kuruksetra, it's like the battle of the material world and feeling that separation. But here in Mathura, it's this beautiful moment of he's going out of his way to see how people need him. They aren't coming up to him necessarily. You know, a lot of the stories you shared showed him coming into contact with people because he was walking in the right place at the right time. It's kind of what he does. And so it's beautiful to hear how when he reciprocates with us, even if we're not at the level of the gopis of Vrindavan, he still cares so deeply for each of us on that individual level.
Thank you.
That was a beautiful reflection. Thank you so much, Kennedy. You have something to say? No? Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Radhika. So Radhika's been our Sunday school student, and she's been a very sincere devotee, as we can see, coming from very exalted parents and lineage of devotees. So thank you so much, Radhika, for your sincerity and your heartfelt presentation of the pastimes of Krishna. Thank you very much.
Brava! Bravissimo. Thank you. Now let's just check and see if we have some quick announcements. Bhakti community, or Malini, do you want to tell where everyone's going on Sankirtan today? What's the story? Okay, go
Hare
ahead.
Krishna.
John.
Thank you, Maharaj, for the opportunity. I'll quickly share my screen and share what we have won this week at Bhakti community. Okay. I'm just waiting for the screen to appear, hopefully in a second. So Bhakti community, as you know, is a community of spiritual seekers who encourage newcomers to make progress on path of Bhakti. So whenever you go out and distribute books, please do share Bhakti community with them. I'm just waiting for the screen to switch. So yeah, please do share Bhakti community with them so that they can be engaged with a community who can care and help them make progress. So one thing which I want to maybe today take this opportunity and share is we do have ISKCON WSN app. So whenever you give out books, please use the app to report your scores right away. So you can add books. You can click on add books. I'm hoping it comes up. It's pretty slow. I'm sorry about that. It looks like it's traveling across universes before reaching the screen. Yeah, so I just launched the app. So you can just click add books and add the books right away from there. You can see that you can just select multiple books that you want, click on add, and then enter in Lakshmi amount that you want, and then which group you belong to, like Western Sankirtan or whatever group you belong to, you can select them and click done. So it's done. So right away you can enter the scores right as in then and there. But what I wanted to show was once you enter it, the scores are shown. You can see what you entered. And right from there, you can share it on WhatsApp. So right now also you go to WhatsApp and share what you have distributed. So you can right from here select that, yeah, I just entered the scores. I want to share it on Weekend Warriors. And all the scores that you reported shows right away. Like you don't have to re-enter it to post it on Weekend Warriors. And right from here, we can send it and it'll appear in Weekend Warriors. So this way, what you're doing on WhatsApp, you can do the same thing on app, and it makes at the same time the entry is happening. So the cumulative scores across groups are also happening. So to take this advantage of this app and make sure you can keep inspiring others as well to make progress. So that I just want to quickly share. So if you can use this app, that will be helpful. So after having entered the score, just go to Bhakti Community. I launched the Bhakti Community app, and just if they are willing for a free yoga class, if they want to attend, just open up the Bhakti Community website, which is also stored, can be stored as an app, and enter your name. I'm just waiting for the, you can just enter your name, email, enter the newcomer's name and email, and just sign them up. It's just simple. Then they will be invited to join the weekly yoga sessions. And there are nice testimonials. So Ligier, Chuck, and Alfred, they have kindly given testimonials. So they are there. So you can just play any of them. If they are interested to know what we do at Bhakti Community, they'll be shown. And also all the program details are there as well. If you just scroll down, you can see that all the program details are there on a weekly basis. We have 5 classes going on. So everything can be shown then and there. So very easy to one enters course as well as invite them to for a free yoga class to join right away. So just wanted to quickly share that. So take advantage of the opportunity to encourage newcomers. And I wanted to share what we have won in this community here this week. So Vicky kindly, she has been encouraging a couple of newcomers. So this week we had a newcomer, Western newcomer from Monterey. And she shared that I really love talking about the different types of consciousness and the potential we have when we are in our human form. I also think everyone had really great questions that help add on to the teachings. I loved seeing our cat guest as well. It made me miss my cat back home. So that was a newcomer, Western newcomer, which Vinky's nicely encouraging to make progress. Krishna Sakha Prabhu, our dynamite warriors, he also received a reflection from Kansas, Western newcomer. I find myself needing to weed my garden. I'm a procrastinator. I need to work on that. I'm on top of no meat 8 weeks now, which is amazing. Haribol. Thank you, Krishna Prabhu, for encouraging him. Trying to be more disciplined on my mantras, bed early, reading more Gita. I wish I was physically more closer to take part in person, but still so much gratitude having this community. Thank you. So thank you, Krishna Prabhu. And we have Kautu Karna Prabhu, our own Kautu Karna Prabhu. He has been encouraging many newcomers. One from Grass Valley, regular attendee, shared, properly amended soil is conducive for good plant growth, and weeds grow in weak soil. By keeping our action, thoughts, and body soil pure, we are less likely to grow weeds in our life. So that's such a nice reflection. Thank you, Kautu Prabhu, for encouraging. So I want to take this opportunity to thank all the leaders and buddies who have been encouraging these newcomers this week. So we had Bhakti On program this Monday, where Vaisesika Prabhu led the wonderful class, Lessons from the Golden Monk. We had episode 3, Video Bhakti Garden. So you saw some of the reading reflections from that session. Bhakti Circle we had last week, which was session number 2, The Pursuit of Happiness, on Thursday at 5:30 p.m. And I'm just waiting for the next one is Success Sadhana, which was on, Success Sadhana was on Friday. So we are continuing the Nectar of Relationships series, Detoxifying the Heart, Overcoming Negative Emotions. It was attended by around 50 members yesterday, which was nice. And in the evenings, we had Next Stop, the Mantra Zone in-person program at San Jose. The topic was the mind, friend or foe. So that was also nicely attended. And last Sunday, we had Women's Circle, where Ananda Mataji, she led a nice devotional Bhagavad Gita class on devotional service. So just want to thank all the leaders and buddies who are helping encourage these newcomers. And also a quick plug for our Success Sadhana app. It's a very simple app which helps newcomers upgrade their consciousness by upgrading their body, mind, and spirit. There are very simple actions they can take on a daily basis, and it guides them through those processes. So do encourage, in case there are newcomers who might benefit from this simple app, please, which is free. Just download from App Store and use it. So just thank you for the opportunity for today.
Hare Krishna. I hope everybody saw the offering last, was it yesterday? Oh, the day before, Thursday. Offering was made to Srila Prabhupada, and if you missed it, we smashed our goal by distributing 3,150 Srimad Bhagavatam sets. And congratulations to each and every one of you, because it's not possible. It's not a one-person effort. Everyone counts and everything counts. And I also wanted to bring up a letter we received recently. Before we received the letter, I just wanted to give a background that you might have seen in the parking lot, one parking space is taken with the books that comes in, and the devotees carefully stamp each of the book with our temple address, and then we put our address for Bhakti community, temple, and then we pack them and we tie them into a ribbon to make it as a gift pack. And we make thousands of these gift packs to be given to people around the Bay Area, and sometimes we don't know where these books travel. And I want to share one story. This is a letter that we received from someone from prison. Let me read it so that, greetings, I hope this finds you doing well. I'm in prison physically and I do not have many resources. However, I was able to purchase a copy of Bhagavad Gita as it is. I found a sticker with this address on its inside. It's referring to our temple address. The book is very well put together and I can't put it down. Thank you very much for publishing it. I do not know if it is possible to receive any old or used copies of any other books that it will help in my studies in Krishna consciousness. If so, I will put this address at the bottom of this. If not, thank you for your time. And either way, I hope you have a wonderful day. So when we receive... We'll post this on the Weekend Warriors also to see, but I just want to appreciate all the efforts that devotees are making in packing the books, putting a sticker, because how far it reaches, we cannot estimate, but it is changing people's life. Now that we finished our Bhadra Purnima and we took a deep breath, we are going into our Live to Give marathon. We haven't decided our goals yet, but today is a festival, hardly strictly festival. This is in San Francisco. It's a music festival where Kautukarna Prabhu and their team already left yesterday, and they did some books yesterday, and they're going today and tomorrow as well. And some devotees who are so attached to Srimad Bhagavatam, they cannot give up distributing Bhagavatam even though the marathon changes. So they are going to Cupertino, to San Jose, Fremont, and other places. So if you'd like to join one of the teams, please see one of the team leaders here. Kautukarna Prabhu is here. Kameshwari is there. She takes the Kids Sankirtan team every weekend. And other devotees, we have Adinath Krishna Prabhu who is taking Spanish team as well. So please see one of them, or you can contact me if you have any questions. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
So there's another program today here. There's the Kids Rath Yatra. It's an annual Rath Yatra we have. It starts at 5:30 in a park on Lytton Avenue. I think, I forget the name, Eleanor Cogswell Park. And then simultaneously at 6 o'clock, we'll start Harinam at our regular spot, Lytton Plaza. And the Kids Rath Yatra will have they will have Arati, Kirtans, offering to Lord Jagannath. And then in a parade, they'll come walking with the Rath to the Lytton Plaza. They should reach between 7:15, maybe a little late. And then they'll join the Harinam and we'll continue till 9:15. There'll be Prasadam, we'll distribute books, and we'll sing and dance. So please come, all of you. Thank you.
I wanted to add to Malini's wonderful news that she shared with us. Actually, those books gets packed in the at the temple at here after the morning breakfast. So after the brunch, if you have a time, and this goes on regular basis. So what you can do, you can commit like, oh, I'll do it first and third Saturday of the month, right? So you don't take away. You can still deposit your time with your family, but also you can deposit at ISV and spread these books everywhere in all over the world. Secondly, I wanted to invite the devotees. Today is Rath Yatra, and Sukheshwari needs lots of help because it's a kids' Rath Yatra. That means it's our Rath Yatra. We have to help them to get where they need to go. So please reach out to Sukheshwari, and also we could use some volunteers to help us clean up afterwards. So with that, we'll go into the Prasadam prayer.
Hare Krishna. Madhuri Saki, give an announcement about get the 34 final exam.
Hare Krishna.
SAT.
So as you all know, one of the goals for this Bhadra campaign was to get the 34 verses, which was from Divinity and Divine, from the Srimad Bhagavatam. So what we've done is if you have memorized either the verses forwards or backwards, we've put up a bunch of polls in WhatsApp group chats, and you can also reach out to myself if you would like to participate. Tomorrow during Youth Jam at 7 p.m. at ISV, we'll be holding time for everyone to show how much they've memorized, and there will be a fun format and maybe even a prize included if you're able to participate. So you can indicate whether you'd like to recite the verses forwards or backwards, and even if you've memorized the translations, you can also include that in the poll. So we'll also send that out again today. Harila. Hare Krishna. Today's prasadam was cooked by Pavani Bhakti Mataji, Kamal Shri Mataji, Balaram, and Gora.
Sharira Vijaya Jodendriya Tahika Jibe Pele Vishaya Shagare Tarmaje Jivayati Lobo Sudhumati Take Jeta Katita Sanshare Krishna Bodhodoyamoy. Everybody. Gauri Bhage Jivaja Shaprashad Nadi Lobai Shayana Vitabhao Radha Krishna Gunagao Preme Dhato Shri Chaitanya Primirato Shri Chaitanya Gita Ma Prasade Govinde Nama Brahmani Vaishnave Papa Punya Patam Rajan Krishna Suna Vijayate Prasade Kara Dikyanam Anirasu Vijayate Krishna Suyasu Pudipaya Prashadaki Gaura Premanande Nitai Gaura Haribo 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo
Hare Krishna. So our Bhadra Purnima campaign has brought us a rain, so it's wet outside. So we'll honor the prasadam inside. And please leave the window side open so that book packing can happen after the prasadam. So everyone can just grab the prasadam plate from outside, and welcome to come eat, honor it here. But please roll up the carpet and put everything away, the mats in the back. Thank you.
Vajrakopadruvasya kripasinave vacha patitanam bhavanibhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namanta koti vaishnavi ki jai. Svayam Bhagavan Keshava Maharaj ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Go Premanande.